Hey everyone, and welcome back to DIY with Melissa. Today I'm going to show you just how I went about creating this adorable flower box for for Mother's Day. It's really simple to do. It only takes 30 flowers to complete this project, and of course the vinyl decal to add to the top. I actually changed the project up a little bit. I changed the color of the flowers. I'm using the exact same flowers I used for this project, except I did not use this one, and I'll explain in the video why. And I just changed the wording to this and with a different colored vinyl. It's, like I said, really simple to do, so we're going to get right into this project. We are back at the computer and we are going to dive right into this gorgeous project for Mom. It's really simple to make. The flowers that I'm using are the ones on the screen right now. The image number for each one of these is also under each rolled flower. I thought these three were the best to choose from. There are a slew of others that you can choose from. So if we go under images and search up 3D flowers, all of these rolled flowers are some type of flower. I can't tell you 100% what they are. I do have a little illustration of some flowers that I did roll out and have the image number for. So I will post that in the description, maybe. I'm not sure. I'll post it somewhere and I'll let you know where, so that you can see the different options that are available that I have done so far. Like I said, I can't promise I've done all of these, but I've done a number of them. A lot of them are repetitive images from different creators, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. Like I said, these four, I really liked the look of the four of them in my shadow box. The other part of this project is the vinyl portion that I laid on top of the shadow box. There was somebody that mentioned she would prefer it inside, and that's of course an option too. The only thing to remember, if you are going to put it inside your shadow box, you do need to ensure you mirror the design. And you also need to likely keep it white. There isn't much vinyl that's the same color on the front as there is in the back. So please keep all of that in mind. Look for the vinyl beforehand. My experience, most of the vinyl is one color on top and another at the back, except for white and black, really. But don't quote me on that. Please do your research. Look into the vinyls that you want if you want to stick it on the inside and you don't want it white, that is. And of course, mirror the design. It's very important. If you're sticking it on the inside of the glass, you do need to mirror that design. The design did have this portion at the bottom here, the flower portion, and I didn't like it. I wanted it to just be the top portion only, the wording only. And for this one, you can go ahead and ungroup your design. So you'll see in my layers panel now, um, it's been ungrouped and each one is its own piece. So the wording here is each line is its own piece, including the flowers, and we can go ahead and delete that. Once you delete it, you will want to attach the design back together. This will ensure it cuts exactly like this. So if I go to make, here is our design, and it's going to cut exactly like this. And like I said, if you're going to stick this on the inside of your glass, please ensure you mirror the design. One thing I wanted to let you know, if you're going to cut the flowers on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, as you can see, Cricut is making me cut two on one piece and two on the other piece. However, they can fit on here. So if I went like this, I can get that one to fit, and I can get the other one to fit. So we see we can cut four on this one piece of cardstock. It is a little frustrating having to move the designs every single time because you do need approximately 30 of these. Yes, it was 30. I used 6 across and 5 down. So you need 30 of these, and I don't think each time you want to go in and have to do this. So I'm going to show you what you can do instead. I'm going to remove the image numbers and we're going to bring in a square. The square should be 11.5 by 11.5. That's the size that Cricut will allow you to cut. Send it to the back. And I'm going to arrange these just like how I did a moment ago. On the square that we have in here. Once it looks good, there's no overlapping, it's not outside of this box, we can get rid of the box, select our 4 flowers and click on attach. When we go to make, you will see the 4 flowers are now sitting here together, ready to cut. If you are going to be using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you can fit 2 of them on your cardstock. The same thing is happening again. So again, please get it ready on your mat. Get it ready outside first, and then attach it so you don't have any issues. Just keep in mind that if you are doing it this way, think about your color scheme and how you want things to look before you start just attaching everything and cutting everything out of one color. Just something to keep in mind. It does take some thought beforehand, and you'll have the perfect outcome at the end. The one thing I forgot to mention is, how do we make sure the design is big enough for the glass? I measure the inside of the frame, so the glass portion only. My glass portion is about 7.5 by 9.5. So what I did was I brought a square in with those measurements. 9.5 by 7.5, and I just made my design big enough to fit this box. Just like that. You can center the design to your box to ensure it fits and to ensure you like how it looks. That's just how I went about doing that portion. I didn't want to forget to tell you that. Then we can cut it, we can hide the square and cut the design. So we're gonna get all of these flowers cut. I'm going to meet you at the craft table. I'm going to show you 2 ways to roll it. One is going to be my first time trying this technique. The other one is the way I do all the time. So let's head over to the craft table and get this project going. All right, we are back at the craft table, and before I do anything, I'm just going to show you I am using 3 colors. I'm going to go with this light pink, lighter pink, and this white shimmer cardstock. I think it'll look really pretty together. And for this one, you want a very sticky mat. Of course, not a brand new sticky mat, but something that's been used a little bit, but has enough stickiness on it. I didn't even braid this down, and you'll see it is stuck. And once I braid it down, it'll be better. Why I'm saying that is that the Cricut is going to cut this, and it's like a spiral almost. So it's going to circle around like this. And because of that and the way it's moving, I find there can be issues if your mat's not sticky enough that your paper will shift and you have to start all over again. And nobody wants to do that. So please, we want a bit stickier than what I normally say. I know this sounds like the most convoluted scenario ever, but I promise you, follow these little bits of instructions and it will help you. Like I said, this can be removed from the mat without sticking, but it's definitely on there better because I'm able to just use my hands and stick it, and it's not shifting at all. And then the brayer just helps ensure it's stuck. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get this cut and we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Our first 2 flowers are now cut. Getting these off the mat can be a little tricky, but just take your time. I like to pull the excess first. And there you go. It's a little satisfying if you ask me. You can of course keep the little bits of scrap cardstock just to ensure you're not wasting much. And I love my little spatula tool. I just take that and get it under. And you can lift it up gently, or you can keep going under until you're able to get this design up. Just like that. Just be gentle with it. Remember, it's just cardstock, right? If it sticks anywhere, that's why we have our spatula. Get under and get it up. Just like so. I don't know if you have the spatula tool, but truly it's between this and the tweezers and my favorite weeding tool that they no longer sell. If I ever lose that, I might cry. This is my favorite set of tools that Cricut has. Okay, so now we have a tangled up mess here. Just untangle it quickly. There we go. All right. Now I like to go ahead and cut all of my designs first and then get into gluing them. So I'm just gonna go through and cut all of these, and I'll be back to show you the next step. Actually about to show you the white. Same idea, we'll get the top portion up first. One other thing I forgot to mention is please ensure your blade is clean throughout the process. Take a look at it, check it maybe every like 3 sheets or something. It's really important that you have a clean blade. So for real this time, I'm going to get these all cut, all 30 of them, and we will be back to assemble them all. We are back at the craft table, and I don't know if you saw my stories the other day, but I had this little setup going in the car. I thought, long drive, I'm going to start rolling, and then I stopped and I never started back. So I'm going to finish rolling these now, and I'm going to show you how to go about rolling it. So I want to start off by saying, get these out of here. When rolling, don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes they might roll tight, sometimes they may not. For instance, this one here did not roll the greatest, but we can fix it. So same thing with these. But the fact of the matter is, when you place them into your box, they will be pushed together a little bit. This is a little bit looser than I would have liked it to be. This is almost perfect, but I would have preferred this closer together. The whole point of me saying all of this is, don't beat yourself up if your flowers are not looking as you were hoping they would look. It's okay. There's no perfect flower out there. And as you go along, you'll notice it starts getting easier and better as that flow starts coming. So you can maybe start off doing a few of them just to get that flow going, or go with it, because really once it's all in the box, it's not as noticeable. I had the same issue with the box that I did previously, and I'm doing the same thing now. It's been a long time since I've rolled flowers, so you can see there's some imperfections, but it's really not too big of a deal. The other thing you want when rolling flowers is a silicone surface of some sort. This just helps so that the glue doesn't stick to anything, and so it helps protect your surface. And yeah, I don't know. I have been rolling flowers on the silicone mat for a long time. I got this just from my local dollar store. I'm sure Amazon has it. But yeah, so your silicone mat and this tool. This tool, which I know you're not going to be able to see, but there's a little bit of a opening here, this line. And what happens is you place your paper end on, so it sits onto your, I hope you can see that, it sits on the rosette like that, and then you just start rolling. I like to start off rolling it tight and holding on to the flower as close as possible. And as you can see, I'm just taking my fingers and just pushing it back down so that we have an even flower, as even as possible. And once we reach the end, I'm just going to lift this part up. I'm going to place the glue here. I just have to wait for my glue gun to warm up, so we'll be back as soon as that warms up. Okay, so I prefer to glue it like this. So just make sure everything's tight. I add the glue to this part here. And then just gently, we're going to put it to sit down here. And I'm going to just let the flower do its thing. And you have to work quickly with this because the glue is hot. And there you go. That can dry. We'll move to the next one. So again, I'm just going to use this tool, and I'm actually going to show you a different tool that you can use in case you are not able to grab one of these quickly. So firstly, we'll do it with these. We're going to just keep spinning, holding it taut. Let's keep going until we get right to the end. Just trying to hold everything in place. I'm just going to use my fingers to finish this off like so. The other way you can do it, which I don't really like because I do like the flower to just get a little bit loose, but I'm just going to show you. You can do it like this, add the top on, and then let it go. Let it do its thing. So you do have some time until your glue dries. And this is why I don't like doing it this way. I find it doesn't stick all of the portions down very well. And because it's the back, I'm not going to see that. So I'm just going to add the glue and get this to stick together here. Just like so. So to me, the silicone mat not only helps you protect your surface, but it protects your fingers as well. So as you can see as well, these are a bit tighter than the ones I did before. Again, it's okay. We will place them accordingly in our box so that we clear up all the spaces. So let that dry. This one here, it's not my favorite, but I like the texture that it adds to it. And it's a bit of a taller flower, as you can see, hopefully, between these two. It's a bit taller, which means it's going to be a little bit harder to stick into the box that we have. But again, we can make it work. So this is just going to dry, and so these ones, this is done on the shimmer cardstock. We want the shimmer to be on the outside, so just ensure that you roll it in the right direction. I'm going to roll. And because the slit is such a tight slit, it does hold the flower pretty well. When I show you the next one with the tweezers, you'll see it's a little tricky with the tweezers, but most definitely it's doable. I'm going to add my glue to this portion here. It was a bit too much, but that's okay. Ryobi has this glue gun that is my absolute favorite glue gun ever. It's cordless and heats up really nicely, and you can charge the batteries. I'll let that dry, and then we'll add the extra glue, because again, we have that little bit of a loosey-goosey, I guess you can say. So, okay. And play around with your leaves, or not leaves, petals, as much as you want. If you want to open them out, you can do so. It's totally up to you. Just always remember the back of your head that flowers come in all different shapes, sizes, looks, whatnot, so you don't have to fret on it looking absolutely perfect. For the tweezer version, we'll grab another flower. And I don't think I mentioned this. I highly suggest cutting all the flowers first and then gluing them all. To me, that was the best workflow to do this project. Otherwise, you will be cutting, rolling, cutting. I don't know. I just didn't like the back and forth. So personal preference, of course, But that's what I like to do. I'll go ahead and use these tweezers to roll this one. And already I lost it. We'll try the Caesar ones. It's not impossible to do it without that tool, but it's a much better tool to do it with than these tweezers. It can get a little tricky. But again, once you have that flow going, it's really easy to get into and work with it. I do have another tool, but it's not working and I'm not sure why. It's like I need more power maybe, I'm not sure. I'm gonna show it to you in just a second. My hot glue. There we go. The other thing about this flower is any little bit of pushing on the leaves makes it bend. But you will notice because it's a taller flower, it is going to do that anyways. So I did make this exactly the same way I made my last one just to show you, but you don't have to pick this one. You can choose a different flower if you want. So the other tool I have is this tool here. It spins. I don't know if you can see that. There's two portions of it. So your flower sits into, this one is really fine. It's really hard to see. It goes like that, and then it's supposed to spin it, and it's supposed to spin. So it was spinning really fast without the flower, but once I put the flower in, it's not spinning anymore, and I'm not really sure why. So this tool would save your hands. And then you may have seen on social media, people have hacks to use a drill. I have not tried that hack yet, but it is cool. It'll save your hands a lot. The good thing about this flower box is it takes 30 flowers to cover the bottom portion of it. And if you place your flowers nicely, 30 will be exactly what you need. So keep that in mind as well. And also, like I mentioned, just keep track of how many you're doing really tight versus not. You want everything to be able to sit in your box nicely. When I get about halfway through my flower rolling, I like to bring the box out and just sit them in the box to see what they look like, if I'm happy with them, if I need to roll some tighter than others, just to give myself an idea of where I'm at with the flowers before I roll all of them and then need to do more over again. We're trying to work smarter, not harder, as they say. Add our glue. Also using your finger like so will also help you tighten it or loosen it up. The frame I'm using is an 8x10 display frame. I got them from Michael's. They were on sale at one point. I believe they were buy one, get one free. I usually stock up on these shadow boxes when Michael's has that sale because they're so good and they're such great gifts to give to others. So like that. And now here is the trick that I use. We have our paper. I'll just put it upside down for now. In the frame, there's another frame. You want to ensure that your design is going to fit in this frame so that your cover can go on. So what I like to do is I'll remove the frame. I'm going to place it on the paper here. And then now I can start putting the flowers into the frame. Of course, I don't have all the flowers glued just yet, and that's okay. Like I said, it is 6 across here and 6 coming down this way. So as you maybe are getting or realizing is how tight the flowers need to be. There's enough space so that you don't have to have it super tight. So this is what it's going to look like. So we have 2 more rows of 6 and 1 extra one to create, and our box will be ready. I'm going to fix these ones. Like I said, I don't really like how they're sitting. So in order to fix them, I'm just going to add the hot glue right across here. and I'm going to just push it against that area there. So just like so. I'm going to keep pushing through with this and finish up the last 12 or 13, and we'll be back to glue everything down. I'll show you how I get it glued down. We are in the home stretch. Almost there. I just have a few more to go. And I decided to take these out completely. Like I said, they squish in here. You really need a flower that is no higher than, I don't know, it's probably about an inch high. Or sorry, half an inch, I mean. Let's see. 3/4 of an inch high. So this is just a touch too big, and it's touching the top, and I don't want any issues, so I'm going to do it without those flowers. I just use the 3 that I showed on the computer instead. I did try another one, but I didn't like the look of it. And I'm just spinning it around like I had mentioned. And really use your fingers. Like I said, please don't beat up yourself. You can see my flowers are all different shapes and sizes. If you want all of the flowers to look the same, then you will have to ensure that you are rolling them exact same way each time. So I would maybe suggest using one flower and using it in the different colors that are available. I personally like the different kinds of flowers with the different colors, so this is my preference, but it's all about personal preference and what you want to see done. And as you know, anything that you do over and over and over again, you'll only get better at it. So keep that in mind. And like I said, don't be too hard on yourself if things aren't looking the way you hope it would look. It's okay. As you can see, my other one had some mistakes in it and it worked out fine. And the other thing I want to say is, if let's say you want this a little tighter, before that glue dries, just take the petals and turn it. And you have to turn it whatever way it is. I think I'm waited too long now. But that will help get these petals in order. And if anything, you could just take a little bit of glue here, just a touch, which is what I've been doing, just to get this going. I already burnt my finger really badly, so I'm a little nervous with this. Okay, there, see, the petals are up. Let that dry, and we'll do this last little bit here. We'll add that. A lot of pink happening in this corner, so we got to sort it out. At the end, we're going to sort them all out, and then I'll show you how I go about gluing everything, and then we'll put the vinyl on the top. I am going to do something a little different with the vinyl. I thought to myself after, I don't want two of the same flower boxes, and they're really nice for decor purpose, so I'm going to actually do something a little bit different for this one. But I did give you the file names for the other one, the project number for the other one. And I'm just going to use my hand to finish this off. But I still swear by this Ryobi glue gun. It is my favorite gun. My favorite glue gun I've ever had. So this one just opened up a touch too much. I'm going to spin it around to tighten it up. So I don't know if you saw that. My hand might have been in the way. But it did tighten right back up. So play around with it. Test them out until you're happy with the look. Once you're happy with the look, you can get your project going. And I will just get this glued a little bit more. I'm actually do this to all the ones that opened up like this. Just helps it give it a better flower look where the petals are not so far out. Although that's also a natural look for flowers too. So, and we'll do one with the tweezers again, so I can just show you. So it's a little bit hard to do, but it's not impossible. So you don't have to run out and buy any tools when you can go ahead and use the tools you have on hand. That one came out perfect. Look at that. The leaves are the petals are perfect. And this was done with the tweezers. I gotta get 2 more and we can get this all together. Okay, our roses are all complete. It looks so good. I do need a white one over here. Now, stick in these. You have to be very strategic when we do this. I normally use the hot glue gun to do it, and this time I'm actually going to use the Barely Arts glue because you can move it around. The hot glue gun, once it's down, and we can't do anything about it. So I'm going to grab the white shimmer paper. We need it to be cut down to 8 by 10, just like the size that was there already. I'm going to bring this out. It's at this point that you can fix any of the roses that you feel need to be fixed. You can make sure all of the strings from the glue gun have been removed. And I typically go ahead and glue the paper to the board. This time I'm actually just going to use some tape. I'm going to tape this portion down, and then I'm going to add the glue to that. So like I said, I'm just putting this on here. In case I ever want to redo the flowers, I can do so easily by lifting this part off and being done with it. I always think of the future. If this is for a client, I would definitely just glue it straight on the cardstock. Sorry, the backing. All right, don't do this. Don't do what I did. I would use a glue stick or, I don't know, not that. But that's all right. See, I'm making the mistake, so you all don't do the same thing. I put the top portion on as well. The fact of the matter is that if these flowers are not glued in here perfectly, as crazy as that sounds, you're not going to be able to close the backing of your shadow box. And we don't want that to happen. So I found these little tricks really do help a lot with placing everything in the right spot. The next trick I think I mentioned earlier is I'm going to use the Barely Arts glue to glue these. You can most definitely use hot glue, but the Barely Arts glue does take a minute to dry, which means that gives you some time to shift things around if you're not liking the placement of it. And that to me sounds like a much better situation than having to rip it off the backing to get it placed better for your design. Okay, I think this bottom row needs to change because the flowers are quite big. And like the whole row is big. And the other thing you can do is make some flowers a little bit smaller and you can fill up the gaps after. How I would go about doing that is I would create the little flowers, like more bud-like flowers. And so for instance, we have this one here. And you can just stick it, after you've glued those ones down, you can stick them in between. And like I said, I'm using the Barely Arts glue for this. So I'll add a little dollop of glue, stick it down, ensuring everything is staying in place. And sometimes it's just a matter of turning the flower around for it to actually sit in its spot. So we can do that. Get this one going next. So all of our flowers have glue on them now, and we're just going to make sure they stay in place. Okay. So now that the first row is down, I'm going to do the next row down here. And this way, if anything shifts, it's going to be stuck. So we'll go over on this side here now. And so like I said, it's 6 across and 5 downwards. And that should give you the perfect little set of flowers to work with. And it's a good starter spot too, for those of you who have never done these roll flowers before. This little project gives you a good idea of what it will look like, how to roll the flowers, you know, that kind of thing. I am pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead I'm now going to do this bottom row and the top row here. So now I'm going to get these ones going. And I'm trying to move a little bit quick. Like I said, I want to be able to shift things around if I have to. So the faster I move with the glue, the more time I have to move them around. So these ones now are stuck. I don't think I can move those anymore, but I think we're okay. Our frame is still in place. Our frame is still in place. This is going to sit on top nicely still, and we're going to finish this all off. And at this point now, unless you're going to rip it off, it's set in stone. The design is set in stone. And voila. Our flowers are in place. You'll see this one, I also did not fill in the gaps. I did roll these flowers. Some of them are a bit bigger. Actually, majority of my flowers are big. I think it's really just that one. And I really like the look of it. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to add my glass back into here. Okay, let's try that again. And voila, so you see that's touching and that one's touching. Not too big of a deal, but this is what I mean by they have to be very small. If I had put this one in, as you saw with that frame, it's gonna just jam completely. But it's only one or two of them that jam, so I'm not too worried. I'm gonna grab the vinyl decal and we're gonna stick that on, and that's it. Our decal is cut. And I'm going to go ahead and weed this. I am using Cricut Smart vinyl for this decal. And although I love the gold so much, I don't like how this cuts. It doesn't cut very well. And I find I always have to cut twice. So keep that in mind if you want to use the Smart vinyl, but it's so gorgeous. So the headache is worth it if you ask me. And I decided to go with gold because I think it's gonna look really pretty with the pink flowers. So instead of the white, I went with the gold. Our transfer tape is now cut. I'm going to turn it this way. I'm actually gonna stick this down. For me, the easiest way to add transfer tape to a big design like this is to just take a portion of the tape like that and get that going first. I'm gonna just make sure this is nice. Just like that. Once I have the corner on, I can remove the painter's tape now and just ever so gently bring it across. And easy as that. I'm going to use my braiding tool just to ensure it's stuck there. I'm going to scrape it back. Okay, that was quite the fight, but we got the Smart vinyl weeded. I'm going to clean the glass with some rub-in alcohol, of course. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just place this butcher paper here, and this is just going to help me lay this down. So I am eyeballing it, and that looks pretty straight. Well, the letters on the right, the words on the right look not so straight to me, but what can you do? I'm gonna get this one side stuck. I'm gonna use a scraper with the felt at the bottom, and I'm gonna link all of this stuff to my Amazon storefront. I did get this with the cup holder that you must have seen me use before. Try that again. You You just want it as centered as you possibly can get it. And straight as well. And it helps if you put the transfer tape on straight. I did not, so I'm struggling with it just a touch today, but that's okay. That looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna get that going. And I'm going to gently remove the butcher paper. And then I'll stick as I move the butcher paper. I'm in love. We're gonna get a corner up here. And it's not stuck completely, so I will give another good scrape. And moving at an angle, I'm just gonna gently lift the transfer tape. And I say gently because, as you can see, some of it is still sticking to the transfer tape. It doesn't want to release. The other thing that will help a lot with what's happening here is some heat, which I can't find my heat gun, but if I was able to, I would have added some heat to this and force it to stick to the glass. I'm not really sure why it's not sticking to the glass, but maybe it's still a little bit wet. That's all right. You can ensure you have no bubbles. It's by spraying the glass with soapy water beforehand and then placing it on, and that will help you significantly with these bubbles. If you get bubbles, just grab a pin and poke the bubble and just gently work it out. We're just trying to get the air out from under the bubble. Just gently work them out. And there you have it. How easy is that? The hardest part, of course, is rolling all the flowers, cutting them and rolling them. That's a tad tedious, but because it's such a small amount, it does make life a little bit easier. And I'm also, of course, showed you how to grab this design or the number for this design. And yeah, super simple projects to create such an adorable gift from Mom this Mother's Day. If you enjoyed that tutorial, don't forget to give me the thumbs up, hit the bell button so you're notified when I post new videos, and of course, subscribe. Until next week, I hope you have a fabulous week ahead. Take care, happy crafting, bye now.